So moral ethic. So the Sanskrit term used is shila, and in Tibetan we call it tsultim. So in English there are many translations, many variations of translation, which is sometimes called discipline, sometimes called morality, sometimes called ethics, so on and so forth, like that. Yeah. So all in all, what it means is something. A very flexible translation would be um, discipline. Would be discipline. Very flexible, very easy to understand term would be discipline, because the purpose. If you want to go to the very deep meaning of the Shila, then discipline is not the not the properly the discipline is the purpose, not what Shila is. Discipline is what you are trying to achieve by practicing Shila. But in any case, if we translate it in any other words, it will be very confusing. So in most case, we translate it as discipline. I think that is more deserving, because it's that's the purpose of Shila anyways. If you try to find the meaning of the root meaning of the word Shila, you will find two words. Basically, one is righteousness, rightfulness or righteousness, and the other is rule. So basically, the righteous rule. That is what you will find. Easy to understand would be, instead of saying rule righteously, if you apply it to our individual practices, living righteously would be most appropriate. So think of the second perfection, the discipline, as living righteously. Living righteously, this is what we are referring to when we say discipline. So in any case, as I said, easy to understand would be discipline. So when we say discipline, we try to discipline our mind, or for another way of saying that is, in order to train our mind, we discipline our physicality. So in order to train the mind, we discipline our physical behavior and physical behavior. So in this case, for example, all the vows that we take, such as the monastic vows of the nuns and the monks, or the bodhisattva vows of the Mahayana practices, or the tantric vows of the Vajrayana practices, so they are all part of the moral discipline, or the righteous living. Yeah. So as I said, on these. All types of the vows that we take, the monastic vow, the bodhisattva vow, the tantric vow, they all belong to, if you are to categorize them into a certain aspect of Buddha's teaching, they would go into the discipline aspect, the second of the six perfections. And if you are to categorize them, all the different vows, the hundreds of vows of the monastic vows, as the tantric vow, all these vows, which is part of the discipline aspect, if you are to categorize them, you can actually categorize them into three divisions. And so if you're following the book in English, it's on page number 238 and the last paragraph. So basically, there are three divisions. They are known as avoiding negative actions, undertaking positive actions, and bringing benefit to others. So three categories. So basically, discipline, or the transcendental discipline as we call it, because discipline is something that is available for all the people, right? Not just Buddhist teaching, but in non-Buddhist teaching, as well as people who are not following the Dharma, they also have discipline. So in order to differentiate that, we call it transcendent discipline, or sometimes we call it the perfection of discipline, so on and so forth, like that. The transcendental discipline, or the perfection of discipline, can be categorized into 3 divisions. So the first 2 divisions, the avoiding negative actions and undertaking positive actions, are related to the self, to yourself. And the last one, the third one, bringing benefit to others, is related to other beings. So basically, if you are to categorize them, if you are to summarize them once again, you can actually summarize them into yours and theirs. So the first 2 are yours, and the last one is theirs. Very, very simply put, avoiding the 10 negative actions, the not killing, not lying, not cheating, this and that, and then the 3 negative, the 3 negative related to mind, 3 related to the body, and 4 related to the speech. So basically, the 10, what we usually call the 10 negative actions, the opposite of which is the 10 virtuous actions. So avoiding the 10 negative actions is, so when we say avoiding the negative actions, we are basically referring to avoiding the 10 negative actions. So 10 negative action mostly are related to the physical body. There is only 3 related to the mind. There's 4 for the speech, which is physical, and then there's 3 for the physical, the body itself. And so basically there is 6 related to the body, and only 3 related to the mind. When we talk about avoiding the 10 negative actions, within the 10 negative actions, only 3 are related to the mind. The rest are related to the body. Yeah. So because this is a universal practice, universal in terms of both Mahayana and non-Mahayana practices. So we call this the common practice or the general practice. So in this common practice, it's mostly directed towards disciplining the physical part. But when you come to the Mahayana practices, then you focus more on the mental aspect or the psychological discipline. Because in order to discipline your physical actions, you need to train or trim your mental diversions and distractions as well. So for that reason, in the Mahayana teachings, you will find more focus on the mind rather than the body. But here we are talking in the more common space of both Mahayana and non-Mahayana, as well as non-Buddhist teaching as well. So in this regard, there's more focus on the body than the mind itself. Oh yeah. So this is regarding the negative actions, avoiding negative actions. So now the second one is undertaking positive actions. So as I said earlier, both avoiding the negative and undertaking the positive, both are regarded as your practice or self-practice. In contrast to the third one, which is related to practice related to others. So one might think, because this is a bodhisattva practice, because we are practicing Mahayana, this is the Mahayana teaching, and why are we focusing so much on myself? Because in the Mahayana sutras, it's always about others. So why are you focusing too much on yourself? And the thing is, in the Mahayana teaching, because the person who come to learn or study Mahayana teaching, basically you are studying something, that means you are learning that step. Just because you are in that class does not mean that you are a master of that field. So you are studying that, and so for that reason, people who are studying the 6 perfections of the Mahayana teachings, the Bodhisattva practices, they are still learning, and that means they come from non-Mahayana background, they come from non-Buddhist background, so on and so forth. So in order for them to learn how to take care of themselves, and so therefore they become strong enough to take care of others as well. So in order to teach that, the emphasis was 2 types of emphasis was put on yourself avoiding negative action and undertaking positive action, and then one was put on others. Because once you become strong and strong from the outside and then soft from the inside, then you can also dedicate yourself to the others as well. So therefore, two emphasis on yourself and one emphasis on others was being made. Yeah. So the second one, undertaking positive action. So basically, to make it easy to understand, this means to accumulate as many good positive karma as you can. Simply put, that's what it means. So the first one is to avoid all the negativities, and the second one is to gather all the positivities. Life is not easy. There will be lots of complications, lot of challenges, but at the same time, life is not always 100% negativity, right? So there's always many opportunities, many chances for you to practice positivity if you just look for it, if you are aware of it, if you put your mindfulness to it. So basically, it is the important thing is to be vigilant. Put your mindfulness to it, so that whenever there is an opportunity for you to practice positivity, you just use that opportunity and take that opportunity and utilize that. There's a common phrase in Tibetan, which is that positive actions can be practiced anytime when your mouth and your hands are free. And negative actions can be also committed very easily just by moving or sitting. Positive action, the rituals actions can be practiced very easily. For example, when you are moving around, you just you may be going from point A to point B for work or for other things. While your feet is walking, you can chant a mantra, you can chant some prayer with your mouth. So you are accumulating immense merit through your mouth. And when you chant it with your hand, you are physically accumulating a lot of merit. And then also when you think of your guru or the Buddha or basically all the holy beings, then your mind is accumulating merit. So basically, let's say you are just going to walk from point A to point B. Maybe that's 20 minutes drive or ride from the bus or whatever. In that space, in that time, you can accumulate a great amount of merit mentally, physically, and verbally. So the opposite is also true. Just when you are going to your office or your work, whatever, to the market to see your friend, and mentally you think of something negative, physically show some negative expression and say something negative from your mouth, then you are accumulating the negative karma as well. So anyway, so both positive and negative thing can be done very easily. Basically, so the idea is to put mindfulness to it. So you to be vigilant so that your actions are not negative but positive. Yeah. So there was okay. So positive and negative actions, karma, can be accumulated very easily. So about negative karma, we talk about in the last couple of months, in the couple of years. Also, we talk a lot. So let's talk about a little bit positive here. So there were several stories, many stories like this kind. So one of the more popular one is that of a small insect. I think it's an ant, probably. So that small insect was actually attracted to a cow dung, an animal waste. Okay, then that cow dung was actually made on a big leaf, and somehow that leaf was brought to the river, to a stream, and that stream happened to go round one small hill, and on top of that hill there is a temple. And so for some reason, the way the current is being run, um, the cow dung, which is on the leaf, went around the temple 3 times. And on top of that cow dung is actually the small insect. And so for that reason, indeliberately, without even though the insect has no idea that it is doing a gora, it's doing the circumambulation going around a temple, but it went around a temple 3 times. And because of that, that insect has accumulated a great amount of merit, not mentally, not verbally, but physically, because because mentally he doesn't have any idea that this is a temple. Verbally, he didn't recite any mantra or chanting or anything, but physically he went around the temple 3 times, basically. So that actually held a great amount of merit for him. So this story, this story of the insect going around the temple in without any indeliberately, without any awareness, he still went around the temple 3 times and accumulating merit. So this story is this story happened somewhere during the Buddha's time, and it is in the Vinaya Sutras. So basically, what happened was there was one couple or one one man. So he wanted to give up the family life and he wanted to become a monk. And in order to be ordained, as a monk, you need to have a certain amount of positive merit within you. If you don't have any positive merit, virtuous merit within you, you can never become a monk. So that man has committed so much negativity in this life as well as in previous life. So at first, when he tried to get ordained from many other teachers, including Ananda, and including Shariputra, and they all of them checked whether he has any positive merit within him left, and they couldn't find any merit within him. So they all declined to ordain him. So he was in this life, he really wanted to be ordained, and he went everywhere. He couldn't find anyone to ordain him as a monk. So at the very last, he went to the Buddha, and only the Buddha could see in his many eons, like hundreds of thousands of lifetime before, there was an instance where he was an insect, and this and that story. So at that time he went around the monastery, the temple, and he accumulated the merit, and that merit is still intact. So based on that merit, he got ordained. So the story is that even if you go around a temple or do something positive with a neutral intention, you will still accumulate a great amount of merit. Another story was during Buddha's time. During Buddha's time, there was one monk. There was one monk. I mean, he later became a monk. Okay, so his name is Tibetan. We call him Nyemba Sangden. So maybe English translation would be like the one with the wonderful voice, or the one with the magnificent voice. So basically, let's call him Magnificent Voice. Okay, so Magnificent Voice. He was. So when you hear him do the chanting, before he became a monk, he used to sing and all that. So when you hear his voice, so soft, so smooth, so attractive, and like that. And when he do the chanting, everyone, including the animals and the birds, they start to listen and this and that. But most people haven't seen his face, because he always hides his face. He always is so shy to expose his features. Basically, if you look at him, he would be the ugliest person in the kingdom. So his face is something that no one can stand. Really, 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 badly shaped like that. So the ugliest, the most incredible face that you can imagine, had kind of face. So the story goes back that during the during the Buddha, before Shakyamuni Buddha, I think that was the first Buddha, maybe the first Buddha, Sangye Wusung. So during the first Buddha's time, some people were constructing a temple, a beautiful temple, and when so that person is actually against this kind of things. So, for example, is this and that, right? And he was saying the same thing, and he said he is totally against the temple. He said against the construction of temple. He has good intention, but I mean, he has his own reasons. Basically, he keeps criticizing the temple from the beginning until the end. So when the temple is about to complete, and it turned out to be a beautiful temple, and it's a stupa. Sorry, it's a stupa. So it's a beautiful stupa, and then at the end, he start to regret it. He start to regret what he did, and then and it's all done. Then it's the end. So there's nothing else to do. The temple is complete. Everything is done. So there's nothing he can add to the temple inside. So what he did was he offered a big, big bell. You know, in many temples, especially in the Vietnamese or Chinese temple, you see big bells, right? So like that, he offered a big bell, huge bell with a very nice sound to the temple. And so whenever they sing, whenever they they hit the bell, the sound covers the whole village, and everybody in the village gets turned. They were so inspired by the sound, even though the temple is far away. The sound can be heard like kilometers away. And then when they hear the sound of the bell, they inspired to do Dharma and all that. So because of that, the wonderful voice, Mr. Wonderful Voice. So his previous life, he accumulated good karma. So in this lifetime, he was born as during the Buddha's time. He has such a beautiful voice, but such an ugly face as well. So both things became kind of So by a very simple, small gesture, by offering this bell, he could have the best voice ever. Yeah. So basically, refraining from negative action and putting efforts for the positive action. That is the how to discipline yourself. Yeah. So you have to look for all opportunities. Be aware, and any opportunity you have, no matter how much negative you have done in the past, it is in the past. You cannot do anything about it. And you just because you have done, there are many people who say, okay, I've done so many bad things in the past. Now there is no chance for me to, get liberation, get this and that, even if I do so many good things in this life. So let's just keep on doing the negative thing as I did. I've been doing like this. So let me do negative thing because that's what I'm used to and that's what I'm good at doing. So one should not think like that. The good example, the best example is that of the wonderful, the Mr. Wonderful voice, the monk with the wonderful voice. So like 90% of the time, until the temple was completed, the stupa was completed, he complained, criticized, negative. At the end, he did something positive. So in this life, even though his face is so disfigured and bad, but his voice is the best one. So so this thing means the the karma, positive karma and negative karma, they go separately. Whatever negative karma, it would be accounted for separately. Whatever positive thing, even if it's just a small thing, it would be also accounted for separately. So whatever positive thing you do will not be wasted just because you have done so many negative things. So the positive thing will be used, spoiled, ruined, wasted. No, that doesn't happen. So always So one I remember telling one of my it's a close friend of mine. So he was a monk, and then he engaged a lot of negative things before. And so he was saying that, okay, I've done so many bad things, and I now don't want to, I think I'm hopeless, and I will basically, now this is the only thing that I can do, and I will continue to do all this negative thing. And then I told him, if you break your leg with an accident, whatever, if you break one leg, will you also break the other leg, because you are now have two, your one leg is imperfect. So in order to make equal, even, will you break the other leg as well? You will not, right? If you break one leg, you will still try to use some, the stick, this and that, and try to get on with the one leg and try to keep more, like take more care for the one leg. That the past, it's not good, it's not all right, but it is in the past. There's nothing you can do about it. So utilize the time and opportunity to be vigilant, and then utilize the opportunity to put on as many positive actions to equalize the negative. Don't say, okay, I've done 70% negative, so I'm going to do more negative and make it 100%. Instead, say, okay, 70% negative is there, so let me try to make at least 30% of positive. So there will be some, it's not equal, but there's some, balance there, like that. Yeah. And the last one.
Sorry, Rinpoche, excuse me.
Yeah.
I want to ask some more detail, because the nun is a lecture. Your idea some translate into from the English to Vietnam. I would like to ask some more detail for everybody to make a clearer
Okay.
understand. Okay. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. So that is the yeah. So far we talk about the practice related to the self, to me, and then the last one is to benefit others, which is related to the others. And so once you become well trained in yourself, then you can help others. Basically, if you, for example, if you know how to swimming well, then you can help other people who are like drowning. If you don't know how to swim well, then you cannot help others. So basically, that's the thing. And the last one is to help benefit others. So when you know how to discipline yourself physically, mentally, verbally, and everything otherwise, then you can also help to discipline other beings. So what happens most of the time is we try to discipline others while we ourselves are not disciplined well enough. And when we do that, then we have a lot of complications. So, so in order to discipline others, Lama Tsongkhapa Rinpoche also said the same thing. Those who wish to those who wish to control others, or those who wish to discipline others, should make sure that their own discipline is pristine. So keeping that in mind, so that would be disciplining other beings. That would be the third of the three disciplines. Yep. And that is the summary of today's teaching. There was maybe just one more story. You can ask questions after this if you have questions, okay? So I think I told this story one time already, but maybe, just add today because some newcomers here. So this is the story of Mahatma Gandhi, the one who brought independence for India. So he was invited. You know how Mahatma Gandhi was a very influential and this and that, everything, right? So Mahatma Gandhi was invited by one of his friends. Okay, one of his friends asked Gandhi to come to his house and advise his child, his son, to not to eat sweets, too much sweets. So the son likes too much sweet, and his teeth is going ruined. So Gandhi said, "Wait, I will come. Let me think about it and come back in like 1 month or so, and then 3 months or so." And so, like 3 months or after something, Gandhi came and gave a teaching on not to eat sweets. And the man, his friend, didn't ask him anything before, but then when Gandhi came and gave advice to his son, and that was the most convincing, the best advice ever, to give up sweets. And then the man asked Gandhi, like, you are such a great leader, politician, statesman, thinker. You have given advice to countries, prime ministers, this and that. But when it comes to give a talk to my son, why do you take three months like that? And he said, um, because I love sweets a lot, and I cannot give up sweet. Sweet thing is my weakness. So in order to give a proper talk or advice to your son, I actually have to put into practice myself. So for 3 months, I tried to refrain from eating sweet. And after now, I'm so good in disciplining myself from not eating sweet. And I can now give a good advice to your son like that. So this is something that we all should take as our practice. And then the next week's teaching will be the most difficult one, which is patience. So I will pick up questions now. Can someone read the first question, which is in Vietnamese?
Yes.
I didn't get it.
It says, Rinpoche, could you tell me how can I recognize that my karma has manifested?
Okay, so that's the question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a very okay. Okay. The answer is it's a very vague question. Certainly you have your karma has manifested. So in Tibetan we have a saying: if you want to know what you have done in your previous life, look at yourself. The physical aspect, your face, your body, your speech, this and that. If you want to know what you have done in the past, look at yourself. If you want to know where you want to be, where you're going to be in future, look at your thoughts. So you yourself, you are the result, you are the manifestation of your previous karma. So whatever good things you are doing, whatever good fortune that you have accumulated, like family, wealth, relationship, this and that, that's your karma. Whatever negative thing that you're experiencing, suffering, anything that you're going on in your life, that's also your karma manifesting. So yeah, karma is always manifesting. Yeah, positive karmas are manifesting within you in the form of happiness. Negative karmas are manifesting you as we speak right now in the form of in the form of in the form of suffering. Yeah. So the next question was in English. Basically, the question is because the 10 discipline or the 10, yeah, it's one of them is to not to kill, not to take life. So in this case, mosquitoes are a dilemma because the mosquitoes spread a lot of disease, and that's why not killing a mosquito is sinful. But if you not kill the mosquito, it spread a lot of disease. So what to do? That was the question. So if you look at the reason why we kill mosquito, honestly, like if you have to be okay. Dharma practice is all about being honest. Okay, not with the others, but honest with yourself. If you don't be honest with yourself, then your Dharma practice is usually, strictly speaking, your Dharma practice is useless if you don't honest. So if you're honest, if you look at the reason why you're killing a mosquito, it's not because it helped other people. You are killing a mosquito because it actually annoys you, it disturbs your peace, this and that. Okay, that being said, if you are really worried by mosquito spreading sickness to other people, and that's why you are killing mosquito, so if you're doing that, then there's a good and a bad. Okay. So the bad is that you are killing a mosquito or any insect for that reason. Like when we use the hand sanitizer, we are killing millions of germs, right? So that you're doing all of that. So you will have to face the negative consequence of this karma. There is no way out of that. There is no escape. Whatever negative thing, you have to experience the suffering for that. Period. That's it. Let's say you are killing a mosquito for the sake of other beings, for other sentient beings, that so that the disease will not spread and this and that. Then, if you have such a pure intention, honestly within you, then you will accumulate a great amount of positive karma as well for taking the sacrifice of what you are sacrificing. You are sacrificing your own happiness, because when you kill a mosquito, you are taking in more suffering. When you take suffering, you are sacrificing your happiness. So when you sacrifice happiness for the sake of other beings, then you accumulate a great amount of merit. So there was the story I told many times of one of the Buddha's previous lifetime, when he was known as the compassionate captain who killed one short black man who is going to kill 500 sailors. So in order to save 500 people, he killed one man. So the negative consequences there, he killed one man, he will have to go through all the negative suffering, this and that, everything. It's very clear. But at the same time, he sacrificed his own happiness for the sake of others. So for that reason, there will be a positive outcome as well. And usually when you sacrifice for others, the positive outcome outweighs, is more more impactful than the negative suffering that you will go through. Okay, so if you kill a mosquito, so short answer is, if you kill a mosquito for yourself, then only negative karma. If you kill a mosquito for other people, then there will be a negative karma plus positive karma as well. That's the main answer. Thank you so much, everyone. And we'll conclude today's teaching. Let's go for the dedication now. Rawa ji yang ma lu ba ge ye sa la ge ba ra jo chang jo sem jo. Next, chang jo sem jo jem bo che ma ye ba na ma ge ju ro ge ba nyam ba me ba ra ya kon ne kon do pe wa ra jo me je Zai Dai Be Shai Lai Soi Wai De Loi Zai Dai Be Shai Lai Soi Then Be Ni Mo Then Be Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Goodbye, Rinpoche.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank you, Venerable. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.